Hello, everyone. On this podcast episode, I'm going to continue where I left off in the previous episode, talking about the scientific theory. It's not a fact yet. It's a hypothetical theory that advanced civilizations created the world. That we're living in a simulation or a world created by an advanced civilization. This is a theory that atheists come up with, because they no longer believe in God, right? Because they don't believe in God, they start coming up with wrong answers. They start coming up with theories that makes no logical sense. Why? It's because when you choose to ignore the right answer, all you'll have left will be the wrong answer to choose from. When you choose to, ignore the truth, all you'll have left will be lies. So let me tell you why it's a lie to believe. It's a lie and it's illogical to believe that advanced civilizations created this world. We're living in a simulation created by an advanced civilization. Do you know why it's a lie? It's because the human mind cannot comprehend something that's outside of our world. We just can't. Meaning, the very idea of an advanced civilization is a concept of the world itself and is trapped within the world. Meaning, an advanced civilization can only exist within our world. It can't exist outside of it. We can't comprehend what exists outside of the world itself because we're within the world. So picture this. You're inside a box, right? If you ever see yourself, in a box, you wake up one day, right? You wake up one day and you find yourself inside a box. Would you be able to tell what's outside of the box? You're inside a small room, a box. The box is enclosed. You can't see outside of that box. Would you be able to tell what is outside the box? You hear no sounds. There's no way for you to tell there's something outside the box. Would you be able to tell there's something outside the box? Would you be able to tell what is outside of the box? No. If you go to sleep and wake up one day and you find yourself in a box, in a strange box, a enclosed room, would you be able to tell what's outside of the box? No. The only ideas you'll come up with will be things inside the box. So picture this. If you were born inside that box, right? Instead of waking up inside the box, if you were born inside that box, all you see will be the box. All you know will be the box. You'll never be able to imagine something that's not inside the box. Meaning everything you can possibly imagine will be things drawn from the reference point of someone inside the box. Because you have no idea what's outside the box. You were born inside that box. Your entire world is that box. How can you know something outside of the box? You can't. You don't know anything outside of the box. This world is that box. Our minds are incapable of understanding something outside of the box. We just can't. We don't know what outside of the box will be like. We're incapable of realizing what's outside of the box. We just can't. Here's another example. Humans can only see within the visible spectrum. Within the visible spectrum of an electromagnetic wave. Meaning sunlight. Sunlight has different wavelengths, right? Human beings can only see a small section of it. We can't see outside of that. Outside of that small section, we can't see the rest of light. Sunlight has many colors, but we can only see a few of them. We can only see a few colors. In sun, when you look at the sun, you can only see a few colors, from the sun. You can't see all of it. We don't know what gamma rays look like. Ultraviolet rays. We don't know what all these colors look like. Radio waves. Radio waves has its own color. We don't know what a radio wave looks like. Why? Because the visible light spectrum, the part we can see, it's all we know. Visible light is all we can see, meaning we can't see colors that we've never seen before. We can't imagine colors that we've never seen before. The human mind cannot imagine a color that they have never seen before. You just can't. Likewise, we can't imagine something that doesn't exist in our world. We just can't. Meaning, it is flawed to believe that an alien civilization created the world. Why? Because the idea of an alien civilization is an idea that comes from the world itself. An alien civilization can only exist within our world. All the concepts and everything you know in this world can only exist within this world. It doesn't exist outside of it. We don't know what happens outside of our world. We don't know what's happening outside of the box. We only know what's happening inside the box. So whatever conclusion these scientists come up with, it will always be a lie. Because they've already ignored the truth. All they have left will be lies. We cannot comprehend something that we can't comprehend. We just can't. And the only things we can comprehend are things we can see, taste, or hear. See, taste, feel, or hear. Only things within our world can we comprehend. We can't comprehend things outside of our world. Just like we can't see a color. We can't imagine a color that we've never seen before. You just can't imagine a color that you've never seen before. You just can't. We don't know what gamma rays look like. We don't know what radio waves look like. And these are colors that you can see. These are colors that the human mind can't see. But other animals are capable of seeing it. Sunlight is filled with colors we can't see. And we don't even know where to begin to imagine what they look like. There's no reference point. There's no reference point to picture what a color that's not part of the visible spectrum looks like. There's no reference point to figure, how those colors look. We don't know what a radio wave looks like, a gamma ray looks like. We don't know what colors these things are. And they are colors. But since our minds are incapable of, turning these spectrum of light into colors, these waves of light, these electromagnetic waves into color in our minds will be incapable of understanding what these colors are. We just can't. We can't even see them. We only see within the visible spectrum. We don't see radio waves. We don't see any of these other waves. There are many of them. Many. The whole thing is a massive, long line filled with different wavelengths. And we only see a tiny bit. Yet that tiny bit is all we know. This world is all we know. You don't know something outside of the world. So there can't be an advanced civilization outside of the world. Because the very concept of an advanced civilization is a concept within the world itself. You understand? We can only think of things that can exist within our world. The very concept of a simulation is a concept within the world itself. We can't think of something outside of the world. We don't know what outside of the world is. Inside of the world is governed by duality. We live in a world of yes and no, a world of existence and non-existence, a world of dual opposites. If you have left, you'll have its equal and opposite, right? You have small, then there's its equal and opposite, large. past, and there is equal and opposite future, movement and non-movement, truth and lies, fact and fiction. There will always be two sides to an argument. There will always be two sides for humans to choose. You either go to heaven or you go to hell. You either go towards the path of truth, heaven, or you go towards the path of hell, lies. And Satan is known as the father of lies. So the only path you can go towards that will lead you towards hell is the path of lies. So if you ignore the truth, all you have left will be lies to choose from. We live in that world. You always have two options. Either go towards your left or you go towards your right. You either go up or you go down. You either go forward or you go backwards. You're either alive or you're not alive. You either exist or you don't exist. We live in that world, a world of opposites, dual opposites. That's why it's called duality. We live in a world of duality. We don't know what exists outside of that world, a world of heaven and hell. We don't know what exists outside of the concept of existence and non-existence. There is something beyond existence and non-existence, but our minds will be incapable of understanding it. There's something outside the visible spectrum of light, but our minds are incapable of understanding it. There are great higher dimensions than the third dimension that we're in, yet our minds are incapable of understanding it. There are multiple dimensions. First dimension, second dimension, third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth, it goes on and on. 10th, there's the 11th dimension, the 12th dimension, the 13th, it just goes on. But we only know third and possibly the fourth. Scientists say the fourth dimension is time, but who knows? They may be right, they may be wrong. But either way, our minds are incapable of understanding something higher than our dimensions, than the dimension we're currently in. First dimensional beings are incapable of understanding what a second dimensional being is. Second dimensional beings are incapable of understanding what a third dimensional being is. They just can't comprehend it. They can only see things from the third dimension. And fourth dimensional beings can only comprehend fourth dimensional beings, the fourth dimensional world. That's all they can comprehend. Even though they know there's something beyond there, even though they know there's something beyond their dimensions, their minds just can't comprehend it. It just can't. And that's the problem with the world. We can't comprehend what exists outside of this world of duality, this world of truth and lies, this world of fact or fiction, this world of past or future, this world of existence and non-existence, life and death. We don't know what exists outside of it. The world of beginnings and ends. We don't know what exists outside of the world of beginnings and ends. So in this world, if there's a beginning, there's an end. If there's a left side, there's a right. If there's an up, there's a down. If there's a past, there's a future. If something small exists, something large must also exist. If something living exists, something non-living must also exist. If something exists, something must also not exist. There are things in this world that do not exist. For example, the Harry Potter novel. The stories inside that movie, inside that book, and the movie. I think there's a movie about it as well. The story inside that Harry Potter novel or story doesn't exist, but yet it is still inside our world. Existence and non-existence are things inside our world. We don't know what exists outside of it. We can't comprehend what exists outside of our world. We just can't. We know there's something outside of our world. But let's not start making guesses, because the only right answer is God. God is the world itself. Because God is the world itself, that's why we know that God exists outside of it as well. Because God is the world. God has told us He is the world and He exists outside of the world. In the beginning was the world, and the world was with God, and the world was God. The world itself is God. The world itself is intelligence. What exists outside of the world, how that works, we don't know. Nobody can truly comprehend how God is outside of the world. We can only comprehend how God is inside the world. We can't comprehend what exists outside of it. We just can't. We don't know how this whole thing works. Outside of the world, we just don't know how it works. We just can't comprehend it. Just like you can't comprehend what exists outside of the box you were born in. If you're born inside a box, a closed box, you can't get out of it. You'll never be able to understand what exists outside of the box. No matter how much you think, you'll never be able to comprehend what is actually going on outside the box. You just can't. You can only see what's happening inside the box. And inside the box is a world ruled by God. Inside this box that we live in, inside this world that we live in, only God is here. God is the world itself. That's why God is omnipresent. Because when you become omnipresent, you become the world itself. God is the world itself. And nothing can be more powerful than the world. Nothing can be more powerful than God. My previous episode, I talked about how God is intelligent, how the world itself is intelligent. The world is intelligent. The world is God. You don't need something outside of the world to create it. The world itself created itself. God created the world inside of its own body. God used his body to create the world. That's why there's the phrase, the verse, in the beginning was the world, and the world was with God, and the world was God. The world was God. And that means God created the world out of his own body. God and the world are synonymous. That's why God is omnipresent. That's why the Bible always tells you that God will always be with you. That's why the Bible also tells you, through God, all things are possible. Through God, all things exist. And only through God. God is the world itself. And through the world, here you are. Through the world, intelligence exists. Through the world, thoughts exist. Through the world, your mind exists. Through the world, your cells exist. Through the world, your energy exists. Through the world, all things, everything you know and can possibly know exists. Without the world, there's no such thing as intelligence. Without the world, there's no such thing as thoughts. You think because you're part of the world. You're intelligent because you're part of the world. You can't be more intelligent than the world, because only through the world are you intelligent. You're part of the world, and you can never be separated from it. The very world you live in is intelligent. So the world does not need anything to create it, because it's the source of all intelligence. God is the source of all intelligence. Through God, all things are possible. Through God, all things exist, including intelligence itself. And only through God. The world itself is God. The world itself is intelligence. Because only through the world does all things exist. Only through the world. Do not separate intelligence and consciousness from the world. Because without the world, there's no such thing as consciousness. There's no such thing as intelligence. All we know, all we can possibly know, comes from the world itself. comes from God. The world is God, and God is the world. Everything in this world is God. Everything in this world is intelligence. God controls this world. God watches everyone. When you ignore the right choice, when you ignore the right answer, all you have left will be the wrong answer. When you ignore the fact that the world itself is intelligent, all you will have left will be the wrong answer. You start to make claims that the universe is a simulation. There's an advanced civilization outside of the world. When it's illogical for an advanced civilization to exist outside of the world. Why? Because that very idea alone comes from the world itself. Remember, the very idea of civilizations are concepts of the world itself. How can they exist outside of it? These are ideas within the world of duality, the world of intelligence and non-intelligence, logical and illogical, fact and fiction. And advanced civilizations creating the world is fiction. The fact is, the world can stand on its own. The world can govern itself. The world doesn't need something outside of it to govern it. The world is intelligent enough to govern itself. The world is your source of intelligence. You are intelligent because you're inside this world. You are logical because you're inside this world. So you can't be more intelligent than the world that granted you yours. You can't be more logical than the world that granted you your logic. You just can't be. The world stands on its own. The world governs itself. God governs himself. He doesn't need anyone to create him. Because creation and destruction, this is duality. Yes and no, positive and negative. Existence and non-existence. These concepts can only exist within our world. Outside of it, there's no such thing as creation and destruction. These concepts make no logical sense. They don't. There's no such thing as beginning or end. These are concepts that only exist within our world. Only within our world. So how can something that should be in our world be outside of it? How can an advanced civilization, which should be inside our world, be outside of it? It makes no logical sense. When you've already ignored the correct choice, all you have left will be the wrong answer. 1 plus 1 will always be 2. But even if you ignore that choice, if you ignore that answer, the correct answer, 2, all you have left to choose from will be the wrong answer. -2, 1, 4, 3. You can pick any other numbers, but the right number. Since you've already ignored 2, all the other answers will be incorrect. Scientists are ignoring the fact that the world is intelligent because they're ignoring the fact that the world can govern itself. The world can control itself. All the other options they keep choosing will always be wrong. They'll always go towards the gates of hell. They'll always go towards the gates of lies because they keep ignoring the truth. If you ignore the truth, what do you have? Lies. If you don't want to walk towards your left, you walk towards your right instead. If you don't want to go towards the future, you go towards the past instead. If you don't want to go towards heaven, hell is on your way out. Go towards hell. If you don't want to accept the truth, you'll be bombarded by lies. All you have left will be lies. The world can govern itself, and you need to know that. The world is God, and the world is intelligent enough to govern itself. The world is intelligent enough to create everything you see, to create the rules that govern it, the rules that govern you, and everything else. The world can govern itself. The world is intelligent enough to govern itself. God is intelligent enough to govern himself. He doesn't need an advanced civilization to do it. He doesn't need it. So that's it for today's podcast episode. I pray for everyone's safety and understanding. Amen.